Welcome back, tribe. Here we go. More mistakes.
And I'm not the lady who cries on TikTok, but sometimes being a single
Jesus
mom is
Christ.
hard. Because you don't have anybody else to rely on except for yourself. It's just me. It's just me. And sometimes it's hard. And that's real.
It's kind of a long story. I'll try and see if I can fit it in 60 seconds. So we met in our early 20s. We got married at 27. And we did not have the connection and the chemistry that we should have, if that makes sense, in like the bedroom. And I married the nice guy and he married the hot girl.
There you go. Here's an alpha widow. I told you, they never forget. Dude, this is the brutal part of this entire game is if you can't lay down good pipe, you can't keep your woman. This is a fact. If your woman is not sexually satisfied, she's not your woman. It's a ticking time bomb. I'm sorry, dude, but this motion is ocean. Size doesn't matter. Oh, don't worry, baby. I love you for you is bullshit. Sorry, man. I've had this conversation with too many women. And it's always the same thing. I was unsatisfied. I thought I could make it last. A couple months later, had to go looking for something else. A couple years later, I lasted that much. I really, really tried to make it work. My family loved him, but there was just something missing. I had to leave. I could only take so much. We were in a relationship for years. I tried to ignore it, but our problems started getting bigger and bigger. Our fights were getting bigger and bigger. Honestly, I was turning into a complete bitch. We were fighting about stupid things we should have. And if I was more satisfied, I don't think those would be issues. Bro, I've heard every single variation of this problem. Believe me, when I tell you, if you're not one of her top 2, top 3, bare minimum, you have to be in the top 3. She has to be singing O's and shaking all over the place and takes her a minute to get out of bed. Here, look, let me give you guys a cheat code. Man to man. Here's how you know you did a good job. Once you're done doing the deed, if it takes her a minute or more to get out of bed, if she has this 60 plus seconds of just breathing there, just laying down, I need a minute before she gets up to go to the bathroom, you did your job. That's literally the only real tell. Forget trying to know when the big O's come. Forget the look in her eye. They're very good actors. They could pretend. The one thing you can't really fake is that moment right after you're done and they're just laying there convulsing a little bit or, taking it all in and then needing to recompose themselves to get up and go to the bathroom. If your woman immediately gets up to go to the bathroom right after you're done, you messed up. That was trash. I'm telling you. That's a surefire way to figure it out. A lot of the reason in the West today, for sure, that women get married is just for the backup guy, the nice guy. So it looks like her man, the nice guy, ends up just marrying the hot chick. So as his value rises, 30 plus, and hers has diminished, 40 plus, 50 plus maybe. I don't know how old this one is. And her options have dwindled. The market's not the same when you were in your 20s. Now you wake up, oh my God, your husband already found a replacement, the hot chick. Wow, that's of course subjective, whatever she considers hot in relation to her. But regardless, apparently this woman is better. That's what we know for sure. But yeah. And not to be doom and gloom on you guys, because I know that sounds like horrendous news for a lot of you, being experienced. Ignore the background. I just moved in here, so there's still stuff everywhere. But this is mostly a problem in the Western world. Yes, every woman is biologically wired in this way, but there are other cultures and places in the world that prioritize family first instead of your selfish whims and needs, that understand marriages between a man and a woman for the kids, not for what you feel in between your legs. Some people still, a lot of people around the world marry under God and the contract they have with the church and the religion, etc., etc. There are people who prioritize different things. We live in a hedonistic, depraved society where sex is a big part of everything we see. Advertisements, the culture, hookup culture, casual sex, all the stories about Tinder, Bumble, the one night stands, yada, yada, everything you see, the shows, the advertisements. Look on Instagram, open up any chick's page and you'll see what she basically looks like naked, all that stuff. That's just the world we live in today in the West. So when I say this is a big part of keeping your woman, because essentially that's all people bring to the table is their bodies today. Nothing more. They have nothing else. It's very surface level is what dating and relationships and intimacy has become in the West. It's basically, do you satisfy my needs, my most primal needs for acquiring material possessions, the very basics, a roof over my head. Can you take me on vacations? And can you make my body feel funny at the end of the night when I need it? That's it. That's it, dude. People no longer plan for longer term things. They no longer have grander goals in themselves. They're no longer selfless in society. We are selfish in society today. Selfless would be coming together with a man or a woman to build a family. Is it ideal in some economic circumstances? No, but you should be doing it anyway. It's your duty as a citizen of a country to have some stake in this system, to have some skin in the game. And this is why society is crumbling as well. People don't have families. People feel disillusioned, disconnected. And what do you think happens? I don't care if my neighborhood turns to shit. I don't care if the roads are crumbling and the bridges are falling. I don't care if there's all these homeless people here. Most people today are not having kids the way they used to have kids, the way your grandparents, the way your parents, maybe your great grandparents. We used to have 4, 5, 6 kids. Is it hard to feed? Hell yeah, it is. But you can't say they didn't care about their community. Can't say they didn't have a lot of skin in the game to make sure the society they were living in was the best they could possibly be, because they were invested in their kids doing better than they were. We don't have that calling. A lot of us don't. A lot of us don't have kids today. Look at the statistics, man. We're below replenishment rate by a lot. Do you think the average man and woman today that's childless and being grinded to dust by the corporate environment they're in just to barely afford their meager living circumstances has any investment in society today, cares about what's happening in their block, their town, their city, their state? No, dude. This is why things are crumbling. The nuclear family is what made society and civilization great. You had something to fight and die for. You had something to live for. You had a future that you were invested in. Today, that future is gone. It's just, how can I feel better for myself, for me? Selfishness today. Me. Consume. More adult entertainment, more video games, more social media, more posts. I didn't get enough likes here. I think they think I'm ugly. I need to post another one. And then like the neuroticism, the narcissism, the mental illnesses start springing about. You have nothing to live for but yourself. And that's a meaningless existence. Unfortunately, this woman here is finding the reality of her meaningless existence after divorcing her husband. Sheesh.
And we were best friends. We got along so well.
And what happened?
We did not fight. We got along so well. But after 14 years together, 12 years married, that lack of chemistry and connection became a huge hole in our marriage.
What'd you do?
And we filled it with other people. So it was just, our marriage had run its course and we had our kids together, and that's awesome. And he's happily remarried, and that's great. And I'm happy for him. Okay, so my divorce post is not rare. Yeah, so did I know before I got married? Of course I did. I was 27 when I got married. I was 26 when I got engaged. You think you know everything in your 20s. And everyone had told me my entire life, passion fades, passion fades, passion fades. So I took that as, you didn't need it. If it fades, why do you even need it? Better off to marry the nice guy, right? I had dated all the douchebags in my 20s and had my heart broken. So I was like, I'm going to go with the nice guy. And
bro, what? And I end up on a government list by the Department of Homeland Security for literally saying the same thing. Put yourself first as a man. Work hard in your 20s. Play in your 30s. Pick the woman you want. Once you're more developed, once you're more mature and financially stable and secure. And you don't have to get predated on by these kinds of women. You don't have to be the backup guy, the walking wallet, the dude that pays for all her mistakes. Mr. Bail me out of my consequences. That's who you are. Mr. Bug Sandwich. You got settled for. At least he got some kids, I guess. Bro, that's the trade-off there. That's the brutal trade-off of Mother Nature. It's like, well, I don't even love this dude, but what do? Do I starve on the streets because the bad boy doesn't want to take me? I keep getting my heart broken. Or do I give some kids to this Bug Sandwich and I have a roof over my head forever? I'll leverage popping out a few babies and I'll be taken care of forever. Oh, wait. And then I'll decide to leave him because I want to go back and get a taste of the bad boy. Dude, the game is cold, bro. DHS, leave me alone.
to be perfectly honest, he'd been a nerd in high school. He'd never gotten the pretty girls.
Jesus.
And I think he married me because I was beautiful. I am beautiful, you know? And we were best friends. Best friends. And that carried us along for a long time until it didn't.
Oh, is that her? You can't hear the music because I have a program that gets rid of all of it. I just want you to know that's somebody's mom. Imagine watching your mom doing this. You're still in school. I've seen enough.
You can take a 304 out of the streets, but you can never take the streets out of a 304.
Fellas, pay attention. So I don't just do hair. I actually own a salon. And one of my other stylists has a client. And every time she comes in to get her hair done, which isn't all the time, but it's often enough, her husband gets there hours before her to drop off a box of chocolates for her. This man leaves his home.
You see, the Cygnus comparison is the thief of joy. They all do this, by the way. That's why you got to get a girl who doesn't really mess with social media like that. You can't compete with social media and all the crazy shit that they'll see on there. It's impossible. I don't care if you're a billionaire. You cannot master enough aspects about life that every other man in the top 1 percentile of whatever that is the content that she's consuming and wants you to compare to. It's impossible, bro. You're never going to have the athlete's body. You're never going to have the billionaire's wallet. You're never going to have that dude's handsome face that's a supermodel, top 0.1%. You're never going to have the brains of that nerd that invented some company and did this and is helping humanity. You're never going to be that guy that's saving dogs and kittens and has his own little farm and whatever she's consuming, bro. The Skittles man. You have to be the Skittles man, which is essentially you open that little wrapper and there's all the little colors in there. That's who you have to be. You have to pull out of your bag this color of this guy that you have to be in front of her eyes to maintain the aura that you're better than her, that she should look up to you. This is your comparison to, it's no longer the guy she's run into in the local town. With the advent of technology and social media and dating apps and all stuff, you have to match up to and surpass the Skittles man. This amalgamation of like 30, 40 different men who are all top 1% of whatever it is that they're doing. It's insane. This is why they report being unhappier than ever. Dude, you're chasing the impossible. This isn't real. Men like that don't exist. And she fails to take into account that, yes, this dude comes to the whatever salon early, drops off the flowers. Who knows? He could be a cheating piece of shit. He could be beating his wife. He could be emotionally detached. He could be some little cuck, dude, that just watches in the corner. We have no idea what this relationship's like. But she already used the Disney mentality of stitching together how this guy is somehow Mr. Perfect and telling you to step up and be just like him, not knowing the full extent of that relationship and what that other woman's really going through and their deep little dark secrets. We have no idea. These women blow me away, dude. Holy crap.
Goes to the chocolate store, which is 2 doors down, buys this woman a box of chocolates, and drops him off at the salon. So when his wife gets there, her stylist presents her with a box of chocolates, and she gets her hair done. Now, I don't need you to be exclusive with me, but I'm looking for that level of commitment.
Wow.
I'm looking for a man who's going to bring me chocolates to my hair appointment.
You see?
Or coffee. Probably coffee.
Wow. I guess this is the woman for you if you're not looking for exclusivity. She's not offering it. You're not going to get it. She even just said, I don't even need you to be exclusive with me, so freely sleep around. Situationships, I told you that's the new normal today. Dude, this one has not left her street queen era ever. She tried to get domesticated. Can't turn a garden tool into a wife. You already know that. But men will keep trying. Yikes, bro.
Don't stay for the kids. That's like one of the number one things I'm seeing in my comments. I'm staying for the children. I'm staying for the children. Part of the reason I left was because of the children.
There it is. What more do you need me to tell you? Here's another example of why getting married in the West is such a joke today. What do I always say? We don't care about marriage vows. We live in a selfish society. Look at what she did. She destroyed her family for her own feelings. She divorced her husband, ruined the security of her kid. Why? Why? I know why. My feelings. When I say there's a rot in the mentality of the West in a certain gender and that you need to get your passport and leave, that not all women deserve to be wives. And it's true, not all men deserve to be husbands either. But for the men that are wanting to be husbands, your options is a needle in a haystack scenario in the West today. And this is why we say, get your passport. Wow.
I get it. I get it. Thinking about having your children only half the time is nauseating, right? It makes you sick to your stomach to think about. But I didn't want to set the example for my children that lukewarm was what marriage looked like. And if you don't have a healthy marriage, your kids will know. And then they'll think that's what marriage is. And then they'll get into a marriage and think, well, this is like my parents. Would you tell your children to stay in a marriage that didn't fulfill them? Why do you?
She was not fulfilled in the marriage because she was missing the streets. But now, when it's time to be responsible, she starts to cry on the internet.
Oh, yes. Here comes the crying.
Like they all do.
Always just trying to keep it real, and I'm not the lady who cries on TikTok, but sometimes being a single mom is hard.
Here we go.
Because you don't have anybody else to rely on
Feel
except
sad
for
for me.
yourself.
Oh.
And so my hot water heater went out, and I now have to miss my youngest son's flag football game, which I only get to go to every other week because I work on the weekends that I don't have them.
Why?
And now I have to miss it because I have to stay home for a damn hot water heater
Who
to be
did that?
installed. And it's just super frustrating at times because
Consequences?
I'm the only adult in the house, and so now I have to leave him and go do that. And
How'd that happen?
Sometimes it's just hard to not have anybody to rely on. And yes, while I have a boyfriend, he doesn't know my kids. They're not involved. And so he can't be at my house. He can't help.
Oh, it's so sad.
It's just me. And sometimes it's hard. And that's real.
How'd that happen?
We've got no sympathy for you, my dear.
How did all those problems happen, lady? Were they self-inflicted? Did you buy into a narrative? Did you turn yourself into the streets? You got a boyfriend that is not a part of your kids' lives. Of course not. He's the dude that porks you down. I hope you're happy. I hope the heater going out. I hope having a job and dealing with all the issues of being a wage cuck and an IRS slave. I hope not getting to see your kids that often. I hope all of that was worth your so-called happiness just so you can get your guts rearranged. Did you see what you had to trade for your guts being rearranged? You had to trade the peace at home, a man who loved you and would help you with anything you ever needed. Your children would be happier in a stable home. Now they're going to grow up potentially screwed up in the head, rebelling in their teenage years because they feel no sense of security. Mommy's out there dancing on the internet, making a fool of herself and bringing home random men. Everything in her life going wrong and making little tearful videos on the internet because you wanted to get rearranged intestine. Is that not the definition of selfish? I'm sorry, please, somebody explain it to me. How this gives me a male supremacy score. Just this kind of commentary, bro. You bought into a narrative that society has pushed on everybody, that you could be happy, that you could be fulfilled, that your family's not important, that your kids don't matter, that you could leave your marriage, that you could break your vows, that you could lie to your partner, to God if you're religious, and turn your back on everything that got us this far and think you know and can do better. And then your life crumbles, your reality shatters all around you. You're not happy. Mr. Rearrange My Guts doesn't even want to be around your kids, let alone commit to you. You're left with nothing but crying on the internet, crying at night, wishing you had somebody to care and love for you. Oh my God. And then a tinge in your heart. Ugh, it hurts. It's like someone put a knife through it. You remember you had it all. You remember you had a husband. You remember there was somebody there that vowed to take care of you through sickness and in health. And you threw those vows away because your intestines were to be rearranged. You weren't happy. You got a taste of the streets. And once you get a taste of the streets, you can't be domesticated, period. Welcome to the modern world and dating in the West today. Get a little blue book. Get out of here. We'll see you guys on the next one.